I don't know about you, but if I were to start a company where I produced wireless adapters, USB adapters, I'd produce an adapter that did not come with a driver, had nothing written on it, and, required the internet to actually use. Because if you're using a wireless adapter, you should already have a wired connection, right?
That's actually pretty common where network adapters need the internet to use. Like I'm an IT guy. Network adapters you need to download from the internet, but you can't get on the internet without the network adapter. Yeah, like that's actually pretty common.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would be even better if I could actually find out what the fuck this thing was. But, still, before that, I had to find it because my cats, I put it in a safe place, my cats took it and hid it.
This is even better when that one time James started his review off with a fart joke.
Yeah. Yes, and so I had to move my entire computer to a different location. Now, get this. I plug it in, the extension wire, I grab the driver, the extension wire starts fizzling and smoking. I'm like, shit. No. I go to turn on my computer. The computer says, installing 1 of 11 updates, do not turn off. Meanwhile, my fucking extension cord is smoking.
Your house is burning down.
No, you can always skip those updates. You can just turn the computer off.
Well, I fucking did that because I didn't need a fire tonight. On top of that.
Why was your Ethernet cable smoking?
It was an extension cord to the power. I had to move everything to a different location just to get the fucking driver.
Want to ring the bell?
Taking it back. I'm taking them all back.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
I'm a loner, Daddy. Rebel. I am the walrus.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to John Hates Movies, the movie review podcast, where my friends prevent me from winning the Powerball and instead force me to watch movies.
You didn't win because of me.
That's right. That's right. It is John Hates Movies, and obviously we've been off for a very long time because I can't remember exactly how this introduction goes, so we're just going to start with Eric Largent.
Tally-ho.
Oh.
Well, we got that right.
Yeah. Colin McMillan.
Howdy doody.
We have Jamie Donaldson.
Bill and Ted quote.
Yay!
Party on, dudes! Yay!
And
eventually
James will be. Yeah, eventually James Barrett might be joining us tonight.
I have something up my ass. A dick joke. Dick joke.
Oh God. Okay, and I am your host, of course, Jonathan Barrup. So, for those of you who listened to the Christmas episode, you know we had a movie all picked out. We were going to do True Grit, but as it turns out, none of us got around to watching it before it dropped off the face of Netflix. So, while Chris is in the process of picking a new movie for us, we figured we were going to change the format a little. That's right, it is the new year. Well, it's actually well into the new year, and at this time, it's in the middle of January.
Yes. Star date, January 14, 2016.
Yes. But we've been off for a while, enjoying our little vacation there and flying through space. So,
yes. Space.
So, what we're
John
going to do...
hates movies in space.
Yep. Instead of doing our usual format where we review a Netflix pick and then immediately follow it up with the game, we're going to shake things up. And maybe this will be a new tradition for John Hates Movies. Who knows? It depends on if you like it. Or if we like it. Because that's really what matters. We are going to go through our top 5 picks of movies that we watched in 2015. This is... Some of our lists are, of course, going to be 2015 movies. But this is not 2015 movies. It's not the best of 2015. This is what we enjoyed during 2015. So some of us who may not get out into the theaters all that often.
John.
Yes.
This is 2015 for like a bunch of guys who work for a living and don't get out much.
Maybe finally got around to seeing this or that, so on and so forth. Everybody was talking about this a while ago. Spoiler alert, I still haven't seen Star Wars, so it didn't make my list. But
didn't see that coming.
Nope. But we're going to go through it, and maybe we'll do a couple of extra things at the end. We're going to be kind of round robining this with our
robining.
Yes, robining. Robbly.
Rock and robining.
Yep. So we're all going to start with our 5s and then move on to our 4s and so on and so forth. Also, if some of the stuff, we're all probably going to be chiming in, and there's going to be a lot of back and forth. If some of the stuff gets cross-formatted, something shows up on 5 on Collins and 3 on mine, not very likely, but if it did, then what we're going to do is, the second time it comes around, we'll try to be a little bit more brief on that.
We'll be entirely reductive and just say it sucked the second time it comes around.
Exactly. We'll totally change our minds, or we'll say the exact same things in the exact same order. So
I'm with you on that. I'm up for wasting people's time.
Yeah.
It's number 3 on my list, but it's a weak 3.
It's a sliding 3, which means it's really more of a 5, but also kind of a 0.5. Okay, so here we go. If this was like morning talk radio, there'd be something going,
number 5. Coming to us all the way from Lansing, Michigan. Number 5.
That's actually pretty decent, Casey. So, who wants to be the start of the round robin?
Well, I can kick us off.
Okay, yeah, let's do it, Colin.
My number 5. Number 5. Of the top 5 movies of 2015 that Colin watched, I chose Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh.
Right.
My first viewing was in 2015, and I had anxiously anticipated seeing this movie. I really wanted to see it in the theater and didn't get to because of some reason, probably deep depression and self-loathing.
Okay.
I love Scorsese. I love Leonardo DiCaprio, and it was everything I wanted it to be. I knew I was signing up for some dark, awful shit, and I just really loved everything about it. It was damn near perfect. So my number 5 is Wolf of Wall Street.
Right.
I was going to see that in the theater, but then it's a three-hour movie.
Yeah.
And my wife we were looking at it, it's like, well, we do want to see it, but 3 fucking hours, and if we don't get there till 6 o'clock. Then maybe we get out at 9, and it's like, well, fuck, and I gotta work tomorrow and shit like that.
I'm not 20 anymore. I gotta pee every hour.
That's right, yeah.
I did see it in the theaters and loved it very much, but not in 2015.
I watched it all by myself here in my apartment on my nice TV and had a wonderful evening with that movie. Like, it was just so enjoyable.
And for those of you, that is one of the ones that we did on our podcast. So I definitely counsel you to listen to that episode because that episode is pretty fucking funny. I'd say it's about as funny as the movie was, actually. So, feel pretty little pat on the back for us.
It's also full of some pretty good insight about the movie itself. Like, because Todd was on that episode and he talks about how he was just terrified through the whole movie that like something was going to happen to the kids, and he was very relieved that if you haven't seen it and haven't listened to that episode yet, nothing happens to the kids, everybody's fine.
But Todd was in dad mode watching the movie.
Yeah, he was dad mode and hard for the whole thing. So I thought that was pretty cool. That
Dad hard.
Oh,
Dad harder.
Dead
Hans, no.
Yep. So who's next with their top 5? With their 5?
I can do it.
All right.
So my 5th movie, and this one carries an honorable mention along with it because I watched these back to back because they have similar titles, but very different tones. So the 5th movie is a documentary called Winnebago Man. I don't know what year it's from.
Really?
John, do you know about this?
I did. It's one of the ones I wanted to see, but I think it's off of Netflix now.
Oh, is it? Okay. So yeah, I watched it on Netflix, and it's about the guy, and there's one of the original internet videos even before YouTube of the guy selling Winnebagos and having the worst day of his life. Oh shit, fuck, shit, it's so hot, fuck, shit. Like there's like the outtakes of him just like, so all you have to do is go to YouTube and type in Winnebago Man, and you'll get this video of this man like just having the worst day of his life trying to make a commercial for Winnebagos. And it became this like notorious thing. And it like, even before YouTube was a thing, people were sharing VHS tapes of these outtakes. and
wow.
the documentary is the story of how the tapes got circulated, who started it, and then the filmmakers catch up with the guy who is the Winnebago Man, and when they go to interview him, he tries to play it off like he's now like a very like serene person. He's out living in the California woods, and like, so the first interview he's like, everything's great and I'm fine and I love everything and everyone, and then he goes back to visit him a second time, and the guy's just like full of bile and piss and vinegar, and he's just like, and like for the rest of the movie it's just this guy shouting, and like them and the filmmaker trying to set up like a live screening of Winnebago Man that Winnebago Man's actually going to be at, and all that kind of stuff. It's a really good documentary. It has a great ending, and I highly recommend it. And the addendum on this is I watched it right after watching Winnebago Man, which made me feel great. I watched Grizzly Man, which I really enjoyed. Like, I thought it was great, but I ended up.
I see only the cold indifference of nature.
Well, right. So like there are the parts in Grizzly Man when the guy, I forget his name, is like talking into his camera, and he's like,
Timothy Treadwell
is talking into his camera, and he's like, it's just not fair that what they're doing to the bears, and it's not fair that they have to move this close, and it's not fair, and it's not fair. And I remember, like, I had been drinking, and I screamed at my TV, who fucking cares? Life isn't fair. Like, you know, it doesn't matter. Shut up about fairness. And the fair thing is for a bear to eat you because it's ridiculous.
That's what nature thinks of fairness.
Oh, like somebody doesn't know how fucking Grizzly Man ends. Like, come on. So,
Eric, there was a series that Animal Planet did called Grizzly Man Diaries, which is actually all of Treadwell's footage as he intended it to be viewed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now they do touch on some of his madness, I guess.
Yeah, it was there.
I would say it's madness.
Yeah.
But like, what was really interesting for me is I watched the Grizzly Man Diaries and was just some of the most amazing nature footage I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And then I watched Herzog's Grizzly Man,
right.
and like it blew my mind because I was like, that dude was a fucking nut.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. I'm definitely with you. That's a good one.
Yep. So those are my number 5s.
Nice.
So
nice.
2 for number 5.
Two.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
Hey,
two
you know
for
what?
number
Well, because I
Those
watched
are
them back to
great.
back, and they have similar titles and whatever.
Great choices, though.
I saved my
Winnebago Man.
I saved my twofer for my honorable mention,
Yeah.
but it's only one movie, so whatever.
Yeah, Grizzly Man, great watch. Winnebago Man.
Winnebago Man, you'll have
I've
to
always
take my.
wanted to see.
You'll have to take my recommendation because it's really
Cycles,
good.
Yeah, Stuff Cycles on Netflix. I'm sure it'll come back. It was on there for fucking ever, and it was one of those documentaries that I just kept passing by and going, I really should watch this. This looks great.
Yeah, it was great.
All right, Jamie, go for your number 5.
All right, my number 5 is a documentary as well. It is a 3430 documentary on the Bad Boys of Detroit. And
Super good.
I was fucking riveted. I've never been so into a sports movie ever, and it was like they got all the guys. They got all of them from back in the day. The Isaiah Thomas, Dennis Rodman,
Oh man.
Lambeer. They got every single one of them. Joe Dumars. They got them all, and they interviewed them
everybody
all.
but the coach, Chuck Daly, because he had died.
Right, but that's fair.
Yeah.
So they went through the
That's a
whole
good reason
thing.
to not be in a movie.
How
Right.
like thank you, Colin. They talked about how through like when they finally got the team together, they were running into major issues with trying to beat Boston, the Boston Celtics, because they just could not top Larry Bird. So they just kept fighting, and they get all the way up to just before the championship, and they lose. And then they finally beat him. So what was the next challenge? They had to beat Magic Johnson with the Lakers.
The first time they lose.
And then they had to go beat them, and then there's this new guy that comes up, Jordan. They actually got Michael Jordan to come in interview for this thing. So this documentary just covered all these bases. It was really in depth. They showed a bunch of classic footage. They talked to Lambier, who was like a total fucking asshole back in the day, and he's still kind of an asshole now.
Fucking dick.
No, he's like the original troll, and he was so good at it.
Oh yeah,
like,
oh my god!
Because in the movie they talk about they talk about teams that were about to play the Pistons, and they'd be like, we're gonna beat them. We're like we can talk trash better than they can, and we can be more physical than them, and we're gonna beat up Lambier. And Bill Lambier was like, look, if they're thinking about me and they're thinking about talking trash and they're thinking about getting into fights, we've already won the game.
Right. It was all about the head game.
It was great. It was so good.
He took a page from like Muhammad Ali's playbook.
Yes.
And just like fucking with him. And
man, oh man.
But like it was all mind games, but then he would also bring the physical game to him and like fucking lay him out. When Jordan came on the scene and they just got fucking trounced by him. And then they're like, okay, we need to like go back to the drawing board and figure out how to beat this guy. And they actually had, I can't remember what they called it, but like
the Jordan rules.
They called
it the Jordan rules. Yeah.
Right. They had to rewrite.
Sports the nation. Sports playing in time.
Thank you, Eric.
Yeah.
They had to rewrite their whole playbook just to account for this one guy, and that should show you how amazing he was.
That's amazing.
That is insane.
Yeah.
So that's why
nuts.
I love the movie. It was fantastic. It had me riveted, and I kind of want to watch more 30 for 30s. I got to watch that wrestling one.
Of Miracles and Men is the one, and yes, Jamie, it is on Netflix. So for those of you listening at home, when it comes to 30 for 30, there are quite a few episodes on Netflix. They are, even if you're not into sports, they're worth a watch because these are really well put together documentary series and they're all really good. The one Jamie's talking about is titled Bad Boys. If you need to do a search, of Miracles and Men, it comes highly recommended about the U.S. Olympic team versus the Russian Olympic team at the height of the Cold War. I personally can recommend No Mas.
Yeah, that one is so good.
Yep. And Chasing Tyson, also a very good one too. Because if you guys ever wanted to know why Tyson is a big deal in boxing, besides the fact that he like got crazy, you can see why what Jordan did for basketball. Tyson did for boxing.
Right.
I mean, they put him in video games before they were putting celebrities in video games at all.
That's true.
Well, I mean, if you're
they didn't put another celebrity in a video game for like another 10 years.
So my number 5 was Ex Machina.
Okay. I almost put that in my 5.
This one was a one that I kept passing by. It's been on Netflix forever. It's no longer.
Is it really on Netflix?
Not anymore.
Oh,
but it is.
shit.
If you're wondering, it is on Amazon Prime still. But it was on Netflix forever.
What? It just came out in 2015.
Yep. Yeah, but I mean, like it came out pretty early in 2015, and it was on Netflix like almost a week after it came out.
Wow. Jess and I rented it. Yeah.
So I kept passing this one by over and over again because, while this movie looked right up my alley, I knew without seeing the movie, which is a terrible way to start a film, but I knew without seeing the movie that there was going to be weird sex stuff, and I can't handle weird sex stuff. Well, I'm pleased to say that, yes, there is weird sex stuff in this, but it's not as bad as I was worried it would be.
Okay.
Not like the near miss weird sex stuff in Automata.
Ooh, yeah.
No, I mean, okay, so the whole premise of this film is that, basically, and this is all within the first 5 minutes of the movie, so I'm not spoiling anything for anybody. But basically, this employee goes to, he wins a prize where he gets to spend a week with this like Elon Musk type, recluse coder. And he finds out that the guy has created a artificial intelligence, and he houses it in a body of basically this robot body that's a very young and attractive girl. So that alone in itself was like one of those things where I was like, okay, there's going to be weird sex stuff.
Red flag.
Yeah, red flag. Yep. And I knew that it was about AIs, and I knew that like the idea was somehow going to come across that like if there was any weird sex stuff, then one of the things it was gonna make me uncomfortable, like that scene in Blade Runner, that makes it so I can no longer fucking enjoy that movie. There's just too much rape consciousness in my head. So, and, which is a good thing. Because if we all end up starting feeling like this, maybe filmmakers will stop fucking doing it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but with
what was it? The Halloween remake?
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, but Ex Machina actually handles it smartly. There's no gratuitousness. There's no shock value there. Everything, they let you know what's going on. They let you know that yes, there's definitely weird sex stuff, but it's also more about just taking away somebody's agency. And it's not just about, the human versus object kind of thing. And so it's actually a pretty interesting picture, not just about the way that we objectify or fetishize technology, but also how we objectify or fetishize women.
Wow.
And so it's actually a pretty powerful watch. It's a slow burn, which is why it's on my number 5, because I'm just bored with movies like that now. So
John's got a bedtime.
Feminism, I'm bored with
well,
movies
you know
like
what?
that.
Honestly, I'm of a certain age where I no longer have to pretend that I'm classy.
Oh yeah,
I'm just like,
I bet you're wearing sweatpants
exactly.
right now.
I'm just like, fuck it.
Bing right here.
Yeah, so I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. There is absolutely no reason I have to like sit through another art house film anymore, because most of them fucking blow. But this,
so like, since we're all in our upper 30s these days, like, except for young Padawan.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's the pants off countdown when you get home from work?
Because 1 minute.
For me, it's like a fucking count from 5.
Right.
well,
like,
I work
the
from
pants
home.
down countdown is what you called
the
it?
pants off countdown. When I mean, keep in mind, I live alone.
Yeah.
It's like, am I in the door yet? Okay, the fucking pants are coming off, because at this point, I'm just way more concerned with being comfortable than anything.
Look,
Correct.
That's
me too.
I work at home, so it's a miracle if pants ever go on. I mean, I've attended like webcam meetings where I just make sure that the upper part of me has a nice sweater, a shirt, and a tie. The rest of me
is this the shirt with a fish stick still on it? Oh, I better change it.
No, it's not. I'm not gross, but I mean, I do have several pajama pants that I happen to cycle through, quite often.
You should put together one of those things that's like the whole ensemble that you can just put your arms through it and Velcro it in the back.
Velcro suit.
Yes.
So what's doubly funny about this, good listeners at home, as you all know, John and I have been friends for most of our lives, and actually Jamie and John and I have known each other since we were very young.
We've
all known each other. Jamie and John and I are old friends from childhood, and when John was in his late teens and early 20s, he was always very concerned with his appearance, and he was always such that I used to draw comics of us all, and I never ever drew a single picture of John without a tie on.
Yeah, John, you would show up to everything with a tie on.
That's right.
You really would.
Yep. So that's I'm just delighted to hear how you've grown.
Like I was 19 back when I had long hair. Me and James's band played a basement show at like some like dirt house in fucking Morris or something, and John showed up in a tie and like a sweater vest.
Yep,
it was awesome.
A sweater vest. Man.
That's how I rolled for a very long time, and you know what? It's exhausting. I've worn enough ties to last a lifetime. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still like to get dressed up from now, but now it's just a question of if I don't have to, I don't. So
Well, in your mid to late 30s, you get dressed up and you look great, and you're like, oh, that's awesome. And you get to wherever you're going that merited dressing up, and you're like, can we leave yet?
I need to put my pajama pants back on.
Because I've been out of sweatpants for like 2 hours, and this is really stressful
my
right
neck's
now.
starting to get itchy because I've only worn this dress shirt once.
I think I'm developing new stretch marks as we speak.
All right, number 4. All right, Colin, go.
My number 4 is Box Trolls.
Ooh,
Oh, okay.
That was close to making my list too.
You know, I actually watched Box Trolls 3 times this year.
Wow.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Box Trolls a
Me
lot.
too.
It was a really great movie, and I think James picked it for
Yeah.
the podcast, and when he picked it, I was sort of like, oh brother, you know, like I after they tried to do, like, they made Corpse Bride, and it was basically like, hey guys, remember The Nightmare Before Christmas? Like, I was sort of done with that style of animation.
Mm-hmm. What, like claymation?
It was stop motion.
Stop motion with model work. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, essentially, it's all essentially the same as claymation.
Right.
So, you know, because like Tim Burton made that his thing for a little bit, and there were just all these movies that were coming out with this kind of animation that were just really lame. And when, I don't know, that just to me seemed like pandering to the like weirdo crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, your parents don't understand you, so here's another stop motion movie about being weird.
Mm-hmm.
And though I loved Paranorman, like, Box Trolls just really grabbed me, and the animation is superior. It's very funny, and the voice cast, all of them, just do a spectacular job.
Yeah.
Kingsley,
I showed
man, he brought it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
So
it's
did-
really
so did Tracy
it's
Jordan.
really.
That box troll was mad.
That's my favorite line. That Box Troll was mad. But Kingsley just steals the show. Ella Fanning is amazing in that movie. Like, I showed the movie to Jessica, and it's sort of like for two purposes. One, to be like, hey, look at this cute movie I like, and two, am I crazy? This is good, right? And she loved it. She now often says, I'm sure I'm delicious. And Box Trolls was funny, it was smart, it was original, and the animation is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Box
agree.
Trolls is
Yeah.
my number 4.
We agree, definitely.
I
And
wonder
also,
if, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, and also a listenable episode if you want to hear more of our opinions
Oh
on
yeah,
that. Yep.
that's a good episode.
That got me to watch it.
Okay, so I suppose my number 4 is next, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So my number 4, I don't think it came out in 2015. I think it came out in 2014, but it was Nightcrawler.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
I didn't
Yeah.
see that. How
Oh,
was
I
that?
really wanted to see it. I didn't get to see it.
I mean, it's weird. Like, it's weird. Like, it's weird, but it's really good.
It's
Like,
done so well.
That's
Yeah.
starring Zetterberg, right?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, right.
Very good,
Yes.
Colin.
Oh, still on Netflix, so I'm adding it to my queue. That's what I'm doing. I'm adding things to my queue as we talk about these.
So John, you'll one of the weird things about it is kind of toward the end of the movie, Jake Gyllenhaal leverages himself into a position where he can, like, demand things of his boss, who is Rene Russo, and it's weird. Like, it's weird. But just like the tone of the movie, the way he played the character, like, so
One of Gyllenhaal's best performances, hands down.
yeah.
One of his
He's
best.
good.
And he's done this, you know, in a number of movies. He commits 100%. Like, he did it in Zodiac. Like, Zodiac was great.
Oh, I love Zodiac.
Zodiac was
Zodiac's a
great.
great watch.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched
I
it.
thought it was better
Yeah.
than this.
Did you know Dirty Harry is based on Zodiac?
No, I didn't.
It is. It's about Mark Ruffalo's character. That's Dirty Harry.
Whoa, okay. I did not know
the
that.
villain is
Wow.
Scorpio. The villain is Scorpio. Like, it is. It's actually about that cop that Ruffalo plays.
Wow. So Jake Gyllenhaal plays a freelance videographer who drives around, looks for, like, accidents or home invasions or shootouts or stuff like that, and captures it on video and then sells it to network television. And it's kind of about him and what he's willing to do to get these, you know, to get this video. And, like, he has like an understudy or an intern, and the way he talks to the intern is just, like, kind of incredible. It's just, I don't know, like, the movie, it's unlike anything else I've seen recently, and it was really good. It's also really weird. But I did enjoy Nightcrawler. That would be my number 4.
It kind of makes you feel a little bit uneasy to watch it.
Oh yes. Yes.
Not like queasy or well.
No, it makes you uncomfortable.
I guess yeah,
it does.
make
Like
you
the things,
Ooh, I gotta watch it.
the things he's willing to do will make you uncomfortable.
Gotcha.
Having been a news intern, I feel like I should watch it.
Yes.
All right. So, Jamie,
my number 4?
Yes.
All right, we're going to bounce back to this one. We've already talked about it. My number 4 is Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right.
It got a little bit higher on my list because I really enjoyed it. And I can't remember the last time I've actually seen a Scorsese movie, but like...
Get the there it is.
I think it was... Shit, honestly,
there's
I
Gangs
can't
in New
remember.
York. There's The Departed. There's
Okay, Departed is the last one I saw.
Okay,
Because I
yep.
thought that might have been Scorsese, but I wasn't entirely sure.
Yep.
But just Wolf of Wall Street, it was such a surprise to me. But the Wolf of Wall Street, I can't remember if I listened to the pod before I actually saw it. No, I watched it before I listened to the pod, but it was pretty close to the time, and it's just like the surprise was. Yes, I definitely watched the movie before I heard the pod, because the pod was all about, wow, this is like a fantastic comedy. If I only knew it was a comedy going in.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I felt the exact same way. It's like halfway through the movie, like an hour, 30 minutes in, I look at Jess, because we're watching it on the couch, and I'm like, this is really fucking funny. I don't know, is this supposed to be, it says drama, and we actually jumped out of the movie.
It's not a drama.
No, it's a comedy.
It's a drama. It is, but
It's a dramedy.
It's a
Yes.
drama.
It's only a drama.
It's
It's only a drama because it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only reason it's a drama, not a comedy.
But we actually dropped out of the movie and went to Netflix and say, okay, so what do they qualify this as? And it says crime drama.
Wow.
It doesn't even say comedy on it.
Crime drama is Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Hey, quick sidebar. Speaking of Goodfellas, Ray Liotta refers to Martin Scorsese as Marty.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I heard an interview with him the other day, actually yesterday on NPR. I'm very smart, and
Yeah.
and he's just like he's talking about Marty, and it was just so interesting. Like, okay,
When
Did he also
when
refer to-
Scorsese was on Curb Your Enthusiasm, Larry David called him Marty.
Yeah.
yeah, apparently that's what his friends call him.
Yep.
Yeah, just like all those guys that worked with Robert De Niro, they all call him Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Bobby De Niro.
Good American Bobby De Niro.
Yeah, I'm like Bobby De Niro.
Oh, we've watched a lot of film.
Oh, Killer Mermaid.
So this is the first we see of Robbie,
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie.
Yep.
who's going to be in the new Sinister Six movie.
So, Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. That's what I meant. The Suicide Squad as Harley Quinn. So, like, somebody that nerds everywhere have been dying to see played live action.
Mm-hmm.
So she's officially got it. So it was really interesting to see. It's like, okay, so this is who it's going to be. Because I actually knew that going into it, watching it. It's like, so this is going to be Harley Quinn now. But yeah, so like we already talked about it, Wolf of Wall Street, number 4 on my top 5. Just a fantastic movie. A short 3 hours.
Yeah.
But 3 hours.
Yeah.
So, give yourself enough time to go to bed if you got work in the morning.
Pause for pee.
All
Watch
right.
it at home. Yeah, that's love that movie. All right, my number 4. Well, I already gave you the classiest thing on my list, which was Ex Machina. So from here, it just gets worse. Number 4
boy.
is Spy by Paul Feig.
Oh,
I haven't seen that.
So
I heard good things about it.
it was so fun. It was so fun because here's the thing: I love Jason Statham, but you know what? He's not a badass.
You know what I mean?
He was a he was a comedy actor. At least when I first saw him, he was a comedy
Lock,
actor.
Stock?
Well, in Snatch, he was he was a comedy actor,
And
or in
he's
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking
yeah.
Barrels.
Yeah.
He is hilarious in Spy. And of course, Melissa McCarthy, who is also absolutely fucking hilarious. And Jude Law, he gets to be funny too.
Well, that was Spy. Yep. Okay, I remember
He's
now.
always good.
Yeah.
He's always good.
And so, honestly, some of the jokes are kind of predictable and it didn't go as far as it could. But here's the thing that I love about these Paul Feig movies, that First off, I love the fact that his primary go-to cast, like his version of the Judd Apatow cast, is all women. So I love that. And I also love it, too, that it's comedy movies nowadays that are moving away from the something about Mary gross out. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there was definitely one in Bridesmaids when she shat herself, which was
in the sink,
which was fucking hilarious.
That scene was, for like a full-on diarrhea shitting scene. That was pretty damn funny.
Yeah, it was a Bridesmaids.
Maybe it was funnier because they were all wearing wedding dresses.
Well, like when she sinks to the floor and she's in the wedding dress and she's sinking to the floor and you know she's pooping underneath it. That's so fucking funny. Bridesmaids is very, very, very funny.
Oh boy.
But Spy is also very, very, very funny. And there's a couple of, like that kind of humor, but it's not as bad as like a full-on diarrhea. But it's just clever, and it didn't go as far, but it definitely was one of my most enjoyable watches. It was my popcorn pick, which is why I put it on number 4, because it was a lot of fun, and it's like the movie that you put on when you just want to fucking have a good time.
Very good.
All right. Yep. And like how the more Feig movies you see, how much more amped does it get you about the new Ghostbusters coming out?
I was just gonna say that. Oh
excited.
yeah,
all the pictures are amazing, and I am buying the fucking action figure set. I am buying those women as action figures because that is so awesome that they even made them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no kidding. After all this fucking girl toys don't sell, girls don't want toys, like all that bullshit. Like it's about fucking time.
Yeah. So I'm very geeked about the new Ghostbusters, and you know what? I have a lot of love for the first one, a lot of love, but this one, I don't know. Maybe it might even be better.
Well, I think it is going to be better, and you know why? Because frankly, we make better movies now than we did then.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be better because the first one wasn't good.
Yeah.
Oh!
I don't know. I really love the first one.
Number 3. Colin, go.
Colin's number 3. My number 3 is Jurassic World.
Ooh.
What?
Okay.
Let me tell you why.
All right.
All right. So, I was a dinosaur kid growing up, so I knew eventually I was going to have to watch Jurassic World. This was like a foregone conclusion. So, the lovely lady showed it to me, and she sort of gave me a heads up. She was like, "Okay, so enjoy the dinosaurs."
Yep. Yes. Good advice.
And when I watched Jurassic Park 3, I made the same decision. I come to see some dinosaurs eat some people, and I know I'm going to get that. Jurassic World, though, had the worst characterization I have ever seen in a modern movie. Like, these are the worst characters, worst written I've ever seen. Not only were they absolutely so tropey that, like, there is not a single character in this movie that you haven't seen before at least 5 times.
Right, I'm following you.
None of them were likable, like not a single one. And the sexism in Jurassic World was so over the top obvious that it exactly that. I just started laughing. Because because it's so stupid. Like, it's so dumb that it makes the whole movie seem like a fucking joke. And I'm watching this movie, and I'm like, I'm watching going, boy, Bryce Dallas Howard is working really hard to really try to make this a good movie. Like, you've got these good actors, like actors you've seen in the Chris Pratt. I fucking love him.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of my favorites. He's one of my favorites, and I've never seen him more repulsive than he is in Jurassic World. That character is just straight up awful.
Yep.
Like, completely unlikable, and sexist all the way down. I didn't think you could make a movie as sexist as Jurassic World and actually get away with it. Because, like, there's literally a part where fucking Chris Pratt is getting owned by dinosaurs, and Bryce Dallas Howard saves him. And the kids, who have not seen Chris Pratt do anything useful yet in the movie, automatically are like, we're going with that guy. Like, this is like some of the worst written shit ever. It's actually worse than Sharknado 2, which was deliberately trying to be as bad as possible.
Well, and they even like cut some of the really sexist stuff out of there. Like there was a scene that was in some trailers where Bryce Dallas Howard, like in order to mask her scent, rubs mud on her chest. And they cut that out of the final cut of the movie. Like it was in the trailers, and that was the thing.
Rub
and
some mud up on your titty.
They did, like that was in the trailers, and they cut it out of the movie because they were like getting bad feedback about how sexist the movie really was. Yes,
It was
Nice.
really,
yes,
it was really bad.
that is
I
the
mean,
truth.
I mean, Michael Bay doesn't even make shit like this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
With
it
Megan
was,
Fox,
and it was,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But
Megan
it still
Fox,
hit your top 3 because dinosaurs?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the end yet.
No, not because of dinosaurs. Not because of dinosaurs. Because this shit was so ridiculous that it was hilarious. It was so laughable that like I'm just crying laughing because this is such shit. Like this is actually my number 3 because it's so bad.
Wow.
It's like so bad it's good.
Yeah,
Wow.
This gets my for 2015. Jurassic Park is my so bad it's good.
I agree.
All right.
Because
I hear that.
because it's that bad. I mean, it's really really that bad, and
It is.
like I felt bad for Bryce Dallas Howard watching this movie, and I felt bad for Chris Pratt because he's on Parks and Rec, which is a fairly progressive show. Like they slide a lot of progressive stuff into Parks and Rec. So Chris Pratt is not stupid. Chris Pratt knows what he's doing. Like so.
And he's great in that show.
He's fucking awesome in that show. And he plays this character that's really, really dumb and yet a really great partner and super supportive of the woman in his life on Parks and Rec. And so to play this character in Jurassic World, like I gotta give him a standing O for that because he must have known what horrible shit it was.
Cash and check.
Cash in the check.
I mean, but it's
congratulations on the new pool, Chris.
It's what the 4th highest grossing movie of all time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just awful. And yeah, I mean, and the dinosaurs were cool, but honestly, like, not cooler than in other Jurassic movies.
Right.
Like, so Jurassic Park is like my Razzie award. Like, Jurassic World is like my Razzie. I put it in my top 5 because I just really wanted to talk about it, and it made such an impression on me because I think I actually like sprained my optic nerve eye rolling when I watched it.
I'm worried my wife's going to do that someday.
Jurassic World may be worth a watch just to see how wrong people can still get it in 2015.
Wow.
Yeah, that's true. They can get that wrong. I don't know if it's worth watching. So, Eric.
Well, okay, guys. Are we ready to have this conversation?
I think we are.
Okay.
Yes.
Because my number 3 movie of 2015 was Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Okay.
Eric, I'm going to be honest with you. It's a bit of a spoiler, but that's my honorable mention.
Okay.
Because I loved
It's
it.
my
I
honorable
loved
mention
it.
as well.
I absolutely loved it. I loved it. Like I
thought it was great.
Yeah, I did
Can
too.
I tell
and
you
like,
why it's my honorable mention, though?
Sure.
It's
yeah.
only
go
my
ahead.
honorable mention because I saw it in January, not in 2015.
Oh.
If I saw it in
Okay.
2015, it would have been in my top 5.
Gotcha.
You know what? Come to think of it, I also saw it in January.
Ooh.
But you know, I'm with you, Eric. Star Wars 7 was fucking good.
It was. And like
It was really good.
Like honestly, I'm kind of serious, and I've been thinking about this for a little while. I think Rey might be my favorite Star Wars character.
I'm
Like,
glad you said that because my only complaint about Star Wars 7 is I'm kind of over the old characters. I really want to know about these new characters.
yeah, like Finn is great, Rey is great, fucking Poe Dameron is a fucking
Dameron.
badass.
Where did he come from?
Badass.
He's fucking awesome.
Oh, by the way,
Badass.
the guy who played Poe Dameron,
Yeah, he was
he
in.
was the main guy in Ex Machina.
Yeah, he was in Ex Machina.
I mean, so if I was Finn and I'd be like, I need your help. Oh my God, so handsome! Like Poe Dameron is such a fucking stud.
Well,
Like,
okay, so yeah, so there were a lot of things I loved about the movie, but visually, the thing I loved the most about the movie is there's a scene where Finn is down on the ground on a planet I can't remember, and there's like he's having a battle with First Order stormtroopers on the ground, and then in the sky he sees Poe Dameron like like owning shit up in the air, like doing like fucking aerials and killing TIE fighters like everywhere. That
in an
is
X-wing.
right.
Yeah,
That's,
and he takes out like 7 dudes in that X-Wing in the course of, 15 seconds?
it was such a good scene because there's action on the ground that you're seeing Finn do, and then there's action in the air that you're seeing Poe Dameron do, and it's really good. Like, that's, like, I challenge anybody to tell me that scene's bad, because it's not. That's really, really good. You're wrong.
I'm picturing John right now.
Right. Well, I don't care. Because he's wrong.
His face.
Because that's an incredible scene. It's really one of the best things I've seen.
Seen this movie.
Can I give you my silver dangle for Ep 7? So you've got a new masked villain, and
I know all the spoilers.
Super
so don't worry about me.
but some of our listeners may live under rocks, and maybe they haven't seen it yet. What I love is they just fucking tell you who he is.
Yeah.
They just like,
right at the beginning,
you're just some dick in a mask. And he goes, okay, he takes off his mask. And, it's like, and they tell you exactly who he is. They tell you exactly what he's all about.
Yep.
And what I love about that is that's the writers and J.J. Abrams coming out and saying, that's not what this movie's about.
Right. Yeah.
That's not the mystery. And here's the spoiler I will give. It is not Luke Skywalker. That is not Luke Skywalker behind the mask. Luke Skywalker did not go dark side. He's not the bad guy.
Okay, I was like, wait, what? Like, were you saying that wasn't Luke Skywalker out on that island? I was like, what?
No, the part with Luke Skywalker, that's Luke Skywalker.
Okay.
the bad guy in the mask is not Luke Skywalker. That's no.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so we really don't even need to talk about it much more, because I honestly, like, I haven't talked about this movie that much with people other than to say I absolutely loved it. Yeah. And they should go watch it. So my number 3 movie of 2015 was Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
I will watch it. I'm going to wait for it to come out on
video,
you won't.
Though. You're going to complain about it.
John, I think you would like Rey. Rey is a great character. She's really good.
I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it.
Are awesome.
I'm going to give it a shot. Because I like what J.J. Abrams did with Star Trek, and I think he's a good guy, and he always does well in the first part of any. He always does well in the first part of any trilogy, and then, if they're smart, like they are with Star Wars, they get him out of there as fast as possible because he's got no follow-through. He literally does not. I mean, like, he's great at starting things.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
great projects.
He started Lost, which went great. Like, and his episode of Lost was amazing, but like the series I loved.
Yeah. But here's the one thing I do want to say about the whole Star Wars phenomenon. Before the movie came out, and this is my piece on the whole Star Wars thing. Before the movie came out, I was being a silly on people's Facebook pages.
Yes, you were.
And I was posting a very specific fake spoiler that I found out later was totally true and was sort of the big deal. So
I
for
forgot
those
what
of
fake
you,
spoiler you were posting. Now I can't remember.
I think it was something about somebody's son, right?
Somebody dying and getting killed by a specific. Yes. So I did it to you too, Colin. You were one of the people.
So John, was just a stab in the dark, and you actually got it.
To be fair, that actor has said repeatedly that they did not want to do Star Wars anymore, and that their character should just be killed off.
He should have been killed off in Return of the Jedi. He should have been killed off.
And honestly,
Peter Mayhew being an asshole.
Right.
That was one of those
fucking
things
Kenny Baker.
That was one of those things where, quite honestly, like, if anybody had given it 5 minutes of thought, they would have seen the writing on that wall for that.
Oh, absolutely.
So that was my go-to joke. But
okay,
for
sorry,
those
I'm
days
going to
spoil
it.
Ruined,
I'm going to spoil it because if
Spoilers
you didn't,
ahead. Spoilers ahead.
Yep, if you didn't know that Han Solo was going to die in this movie, you're a fucking idiot.
What?
Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. Like, the writing was on the wall. The only reason he agreed to be in this movie is because he was like, "You're gonna kill me this time, right?"
But it's not only in the meta. It actually completely makes sense in the structure of the story.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, it's actually like the way the movie is written.
Yeah.
Of course he dies.
Yeah. Like that could have, I don't know. That was like the most telegraphed thing in the world to me.
Yeah. One way, not one day.
Yeah, and
So
I pretty much knew it was going to happen when we were watching this, because, like, you know, I know Harrison. I don't know him personally, but I know Harrison Ford doesn't want to be in these movies.
Yep.
So it's like, I bet they're going to kill him off, mainly for the fact that he doesn't want to do it.
The point is that I want to put an on-air apology, because I did actually really ruin someone's fucking day by doing that. So yeah,
kind of makes me happy.
I'm not gonna name any names.
That's actually your karmic reaping, or all your Star Wars hate and making fun of Star Wars people is now you have to live with that guilt.
That kind of sounds right. Okay.
So,
but what's really going to hurt is you're going to watch it and you're going to like it, really, because
that's
Jamie is absolutely right.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like,
this is the one that's going to make me a fan, is what you're saying.
Right.
Oh,
you're
I'm
going
that.
to like the last trilogy, and I'll tell you why. Because if they made a TV show about Rey, Finn, and Poe, you would watch it.
Yes.
They're good characters.
Hey, guess
They
who
have
just
heart
joined us?
And charm.
Would that be James?
Yeah.
Ah.
I don't think he can talk yet, but I do see Kern butts.
He's working on it.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you, this is one other thing that I wanted to mention about this. I did hear a very interesting theory that this was all planned, because the first trilogy was A New Hope. The prequel was Empire Strikes Back. The prequel trilogy was Empire Strikes Back. And the new trilogy is going to be Return of the Jedi. So, like, the prequels were like the worst of the worst, and everything bad was happening, and a villain was winning. And
it's the Act 2 of the greater trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
That's
third
an
one,
interesting take on it.
Yeah, by the end of this new trilogy, we're all going to be yub nubbing.
Can I give you?
I'd like to be yub nubbing later tonight.
Can I give you a sad confession? And I feel like this is going to give me some fucking shade from the nerd community, and I might have my nerd card revoked. But so Star Wars ended up being the biggest point of friction yet in my romantic life. Like, because my girl, bless her heart, does not like Star Wars. She does not like Star Wars at all. And
my wife hates Star Wars too.
She is something about Jessica's. They don't like Star Wars.
I guess it is.
She likes sports. She loves movies. She likes a lot of different things, but just like she loves comic books. Just does not like Star Wars. Cannot get into it. Obviously, right around this holiday season, it's the word on everybody's lips is Star Wars, and I've always been a fan. So we're going to New Year's parties and Christmas parties and shit, and people are like, "You haven't seen the new Star Wars?" And I'm going, "Yeah, I know." And she's just watching this, and she's seeing me suffer through these conversations where my nerd cred is being questioned, and so she gets it in her brain that she wants to like go with me on this, and we're gonna go see Star Wars together, and it's gonna be great. And but I can tell that she really does not want to at all. She's trying to be a good partner. We go to a lovely dinner party where this comes up for discussion yet again, and we go through the fact that the only movie that you probably really need to watch in order to understand Force Awakens is Return of the Jedi. So, you're right. You know, okay, good guys win, blah, blah, blah. Who's who? You get it all. In Jedi, you get it all. About a 5-minute recap actually takes you all the way through New Hope and Empire and fuck the trilogy, the prequel trilogy. So there you go. So the night of New Year's, I sit her down. I found a streaming copy of Return of the Jedi, and I was really stoked. I was like, "This is going to be great." Finally, you're going to understand these wonderful things from my childhood and how I loved it. I love it so much. And so we sit down to watch Return of the Jedi, but the version that I found was the most George Lucas peed upon version of Jedi ever. Like, the most quote-unquote enhanced there is, including the addition of the Hayden Christensen ghost and Vader knowing when he throws the Emperor down the shaft. In addition to that, this was a version that did not include any subtitles, including any of the fucking alien gibberish in the beginning, the first 25 minutes in Jabba's palace. So I'm really trying to get her on board with Star Wars, and I'm like, watching this, I'm going, oh my God.
I'm doing more harm than good.
This is terrible. This is shit. Return of the Jedi isn't good. Oh no! Because I'm first of all, I learned something about myself. That is, I actually know all of Jabba the Hutt's subtitles by heart, and I can translate for fucking Jabba the Hutt. And I'm going, what is my life right now? Like, I'm going. He's saying, so this is the mighty Chewbacca. I'm translating, and the funny thing is, I'm translating the parts that should be subtitled, and then C-3PO is translating the parts that should have been subtitled, and I'm going, oh my God. The first 25 minutes of Return of the Jedi, they say every line twice. What? How did I not see this before? And we're just going through it. And it's just fucking awful.
Ijuta.
And I love this girl. Like, and she's really trying. She's trying. She's being very patient. But
well, that is a great story, Colin.
Well, so anyway, I got through it and it just really shook me. And then we're just like sitting in silence in bed, and I'm like, this is like the worst thing that's ever happened in my relationship. And eventually I told her, you know what, that really sucked, and I shouldn't have shown you that because you're not 10, and I was like 10 when I saw that, and that's why I like it. And I'm just gonna go see Star Wars with my other friends, and let's just put on the hockey game and split a bottle of wine, and then everything was okay.
There you go.
So unfortunately, everybody at home, really, unless you loved it as a kid, I hate to say it, the old trilogy isn't actually. It doesn't. If you watched it for the first time when you were 30, you wouldn't like it. Sorry.
Nope.
Yeah, probably not.
Like it.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, what is your 30, or what is your 30? What is your 3?
My number 30 pick is it's a Paul Rudd movie. I don't know if it's still on Netflix right now. It's not Ant-Man, although I did like Ant-Man. It was a movie called They Came Together. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it, but it stars Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler. It was directed by David Wayne.
Yeah, it really does. They came together.
It does. They might have done that on purpose. Stars Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler as the two leads. It's directed by David Wayne, who is known for directing all the state movies, and written by Wayne and Showalter.
Wow.
So, if you're a fan, now I'm a fan of these guys. So any one of their movies they make, I'm going to watch religiously, of course, because I was a huge fan of The State, and then every movie they made after that, The 10, the Wet Hot American Summer, the Wet Hot American Summer show that they had on Netflix. So I love that humor. It's very kind of like Americanized, kind of Monty Python, I guess. Like just so fucking ridiculous, but just so funny. And then I'm a Paul Rudd fan as well. Not everybody is, but I definitely am. And my wife is too, so I can get her to watch these movies with me. They Came Together is a parody movie on all rom-coms. They take all the things that you hate about rom-com movies and they blow them way out of proportion. And like, because one of the scenes I can remember off the top of my head is like the first time they're going to make love. And they come home and they're knocking shit over all over the house. And you know how they do that in most rom-com movies. Oh, yeah. You know, they knock over a plant or whatever. They fucking trash this apartment. They take down, like, the kitchen, all the dishes, everything breakable is broken during this lovemaking scene where they're just kind of sucking each other's face and pulling down all this shit. It is fucking hilarious. Paul Rudd is his typical kind of weird, goofy, but kind of a straight man as well. Amy Poehler is just right there with it in top form. And then the writing is just so weird and crazy and fun. And it's perfect for the guys who have had to sit through some rom-com bullshit that either a girlfriend or a wife or anybody has made them sit through. And it's just, it takes it and blows away out of proportion. It's like, see how fucking stupid this is? And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it is pretty fucking stupid. And they just flat out just address every single one of those issues. It's told in a frame story format. So, like, they're out to dinner with Amy Poehler and Paul Rudd are out to dinner with Bill Hader. The girl from Kimmy Schmidt like Ellie Kemper
Oh,
or something
Ellie
like
Kemper,
that.
I love her.
Yeah, her. So those two are out on a date with those two. That's the frame story, and they're telling the story of how they met. And it's freaking hilarious. It's a fantastic movie. I recommend it to anybody, especially if you're a fan of Paul Rudd or a fan of the State cast.
Okay, so my number 3. Well, I really debated where I was going to put this one on my list, but it ended up straight smack dab in the middle. The movie is Inside Out.
Oh, I never saw that.
Yep, you would
Is that
hate
the Kevin Kline movie?
No,
No,
it's the animated
Pixar,
movie.
the Pixar.
The
Oh, that one, right.
Yeah, with the people with that was In and Out, I think, was the Kevin Kline movie. But no, Inside Out. Or I don't know what it actually was. But yeah, like the Inside
We Built
Out.
a House. That was the Kevin Kline movie.
Yeah, we visited a fish called no.
Gary?
Yeah.
But anyway, Inside Out, everybody knows what this is about. It's, a little girl, people that live inside her head. The emotions. I have a feeling that this movie would have been a heck of a lot more poignant to me if I had had children. I think that this movie probably was designed, I mean, don't get me wrong, it gave me plenty of feels. And it
It's Pixar.
yeah. And Eric, this is why I think,
Well, right. So I've seen this movie on a bunch of best of lists. Mm-hmm. Is it could I watch it though?
It is all about straight up emotional manipulation. I mean, from start to finish.
I could kind of tell by the looks of it. I haven't seen it, but I could tell by the looks of it.
Straight up, you know what? We are going to run you through this. We are gonna, and we're gonna lead you by the nose.
Yeah,
we're gonna tell you what to
That's
feel
kind of how it looked.
and
yeah.
when.
Yeah.
And that's what it does. It specifically, it tells you what to feel and when, and it does an excellent job of that. There are some important lessons in here, about, just basically how you need the whole range of emotions. You can't really feel joy, if you don't experience sadness, stuff that it's very, very strong. But if you're the type of person that gets straight up offended when a movie basically tells you how to feel, then this is not the movie for you, because that's what this movie is.
Okay.
From start to finish.
Message received.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you do find yourself watching it, Eric, it's a good watch. So number 2 for everybody. Let's start with you, Colin.
Number 2 is a movie I watched that is called Kingsman.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
That should be on my
Did
list.
anybody else watch Kingsman?
Oh, hell yes,
I heard about
did.
it.
Kingsman
I did not.
was
I did not watch
Oh, it was amazing. That should have been on my list. Damn it.
Kingsman was so great. And I was introduced to this movie where it was it was brought over to my house and it was hey, we should watch this. And that was literally that was what I had going in. This movie
Beautiful violence.
Whoa. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Really?
It's crazy good fight scenes.
Yeah.
Including very fresh, original cinematography that really works. Okay, this movie is sort of like James Bond on roids.
Yeah.
Secret Spy Society in England, also probably the most anti-American movie I've seen in a really long time.
And very English, very English.
And they don't give a fuck
Excellent
about us.
V for Vendetta was wonderfully anti-American, where they were calling us the colonies and shit like that. I actually kind of like that a
You
lot.
should watch Kingsman, because
you
there's
love
seriously
Kingsman.
a part where
It is so good.
Samuel L. Jackson, as the American villain, seriously serves somebody McDonald's as a fancy dinner.
Yeah. Oh, and it's actually
Shit's
some
fucking
of
off the
some
wall.
of the best acting I've ever seen Samuel L. Jackson do.
Definitely. Okay, so it's not like he needs a breakout, but this was kind of a breakout for him. Totally unlike any role I've seen him play. He's great. Colin Firth is fantastic in this movie. It's starring Samuel L. Jackson, Colin Firth, Michael Caine, some young guy. This is a movie about spies, but it's the best of super spydom. Just awesome. I feel like when they started making Daniel Craig Bond movies, they tried to bring spy movies a little bit back to reality. Kingsman does not agree. Like, it's all the gadgets and fucking super British kung fu. Like, oh man, it's awesome. Kingsman is a really good action romp and honestly a very cool spy movie on its own. Highly recommend. I'm glad John saw it too. That's my number 2, Kingsman. Watch it.
All right. So, Jamie, go ahead with your... or Eric, I'm sorry. I almost skipped you there. Your number 2.
So my number 2 was, and I'll bet you if James were here, he would co-sign on this number 2 because it is a movie that I know he loved. Oh.
I don't know what he's doing when he needs to stop.
He's just fucking with us at this point. All right, I'm just going to mute him on my end.
Okay.
Local mute. Just local mute James. Okay. So anyway, my number 2 movie is Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah!
Oh, you know what? That's my number 2 too.
Okay, so let's talk about it because Mad Max Fury Road is a really good movie. Yes. It's visually probably the best movie I've ever seen ever.
I agree.
Wow. I still have yet to see this.
It's really good.
You need to see this.
It didn't make my top 5 strictly because I didn't remember to put it on there. Like, it was so awesome.
Yeah, okay. Mad Max Fury Road is the best thing I've seen this year, except for like one of my favorite stories of all time happened this year, and so I have to talk about it. But there are some visual things that happen in Mad Max Fury Road. There's like a weather fire hurricane that happens out in the distance, and like a car bounces off another car, and then a person gets swept up in the fire hurricane, and then another car bounces off the car that was driving through the fire hurricane, and it's like just the most beautiful thing ever. And then and then Charlize Theron doesn't have an arm, but
she's so good,
but she's still hot, and she's the real hero of the story.
Yep.
And Immortan Joe is really the original bad guy from the first movie, Toe Cutter, and he's really, really cool. Like, okay, I don't even care. Like, just talking about the story of what is Mad Max Fury Road isn't that great, but Mad Max Fury Road is that great.
Yes.
Like it's an incredible movie.
It's visually
and you
stunning.
need to watch it.
I mean, there's just so many great things. I just love like one of my personal things, and I'm not going to cover this again when it's my turn. So I'll just get this out of the way.
James just wrote unmute me. Okay, I just unmuted you, James.
A fish named Nemo.
James,
that was what you were looking for. A fish named Nemo.
He's back.
Well, James is joining us a little late, so he's going to be able to do his top one.
Yeah, James, you can talk about Mad Max Fury Road and whatever the other movie you wanted to talk about is.
We'll let James tackle his top 5 in a very quick fashion. But yeah, I mean, my whole thing with Fury Road, I mean, like, it's amazing. So many great visuals. It's a fantastic piece of fucking work. And as a film, it's just stellar. It's just absolutely stellar. So, watch it if you haven't. It's a must watch. Jamie,
yes.
Finish our number 2s.
My number 2 was one that I don't think was on Netflix either. The movie was called Predestination. Predestination stars Ethan Hawke and a woman named Sarah Snook. The story is based on a short story called All You Zombies, written by Robert Heinlein.
I know that.
Oh, I used to be a big Heinlein fan.
This is a time travel story. It's about a guy who has to go back in time and save or make sure that another guy completes his destiny. Now, I don't want to give too much away, because there's a couple of twists and things that happen in there, and it's kind of...
In the story, there's a shit ton of twists. It's got one of the greatest opening lines ever. I was an unwed teenage mother.
Right, right. And it's just, well, Ethan Hawke has got top billing on it, and he is good, really good in it. But Sarah Snook, who plays the unwed teenage mother, is just phenomenal. Her performance in this was fantastic. And I guess I'll just go ahead and say that, like, the unwed teenage mother, halfway through the movie, becomes a man.
Yeah.
Huh.
And the woman who plays this name's Sarah Snook, and she just does an amazing job of covering both sexes and just playing it one way through half of the movie and one way through the other half of the movie. And it's just a really cool story. It goes back on itself. It's a
great time travel flick.
It's a great time travel flick. The period stuff that they put into the movie, because it kind of takes place in the 70s, back when it was actually written.
Yeah, I was looking. I haven't seen the actual movie, but I love the short story, and I'm glad to hear that the movie did the short story justice, because that's one of my favorite short stories, and I can't believe that one slipped off my radar. But yeah, definitely check it out. So, James, real quick, we're going to give you an opportunity to catch up. Can you go through your 5 through 2 relatively fast?
It looks like we're all on the same page with this. I had a tough time deciding on only 5, but we're all on the same page with this one. Wolf of Wall Street is my number 5.
Yay!
Fantastic. Yeah. Number 4, Kung Fury. Because even though it's 30 minutes, it is it really took me by surprise, and it is the best, the funniest, and best stupid movie I saw this year. It beat out Wolf Cop by a short margin. A small margin. Yeah, and the next one is my sneak surprise one, because this is a movie that everybody, I think, besides me has watched, and I just watched it this year, and it wasn't because of the podcast. Boogie Nights.
Ooh, okay. I never saw that.
That was good. I like that one.
Yeah, I put it on because I heard it was great. It was on Netflix. I was looking for something to watch that was like entertaining, and my God, it is so good.
Mm-hmm.
It is just a slice of life, like from
if your life is
late
porn.
70s.
Even for a Paul Thomas Anderson movie, that was a good one.
Yeah. Now the thing was, I had no idea it was Paul Thomas Anderson. Every time I go into a Paul Thomas Anderson, I have no idea it's Paul Thomas Anderson. So he surprises me every time. I'm glad I don't follow
because he's
him.
versatile.
Yeah, I'm really glad I don't follow him, because
I do.
Yeah, they will be
I actually
blood.
like it.
Yeah.
Because he's versatile.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, The Master was like meh. They Will Be Blood was good, but a little too heavy for me to watch multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Magnolia was pure garbage. Absolute shit all the way through. I fucking hate that movie with a passion. But had I known that the guy who did Magnolia did Boogie Nights and There Will Be Blood, I wouldn't have given either of those movies a chance.
Yeah. I also hated Punch Drunk Love. That was his.
Yeah. Oh, I like that one.
See, I really, really like that movie.
Yeah. You do?
I really like that movie.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, Boogie Nights put a lot of people on the map. It put Wahlberg on the map as an actor. Philip Seymour Hoffman, I think, came out of that movie. And so did
John C. Reilly.
Heather Graham.
Yeah.
No, a lot of people.
It reinvigorated Burt Reynolds' career.
Yep.
He was doing nothing at the time.
I really like that part when they were trying to record their album and they were playing the Flying D.
They were playing You Got the Touch. And singing it really bad. And those fucking lines later, it's like, you don't fucking... It's like the Wi-Fi adapter all over again. We need the fucking tracks to get the fucking deal, then you'll get your fucking money. Those tracks are fucking gold. If you listen to them, you fucking know this.
All right, James, what's number 2?
Number 2 is Marty.
Oh,
what? Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, the old 60s romantic comedy, because going back, I looked at the movies that came out this year, and I looked at the movies we did for the podcast, and I was like, Marty was...
Dick joke.
Yeah, dick joke. No, seriously, Marty was just so fucking good.
Yeah,
and on
it
point.
was good.
It's a good movie.
It was
I
good.
still
movie.
think about it. Like, just randomly, I'll just think about, oh man, this is just like that part in Marty.
Yeah.
It is a great movie.
Yeah.
So it left
it
an
is a great
impression.
movie. I'm just reducing.
And it's like one of the first, I want to say, I don't know, I don't know movies well enough. Honestly, Marty, I would have never fucking known about it if it weren't for this podcast.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like a romantic comedy done almost in the Paul Thomas Anderson style. Like he was one of the first ones to actually kind of do this one.
Yeah.
But like it was the first one to actually put in like realism in a romantic comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like back in the time, it was all just sort of, did a romantic comedy. It was cutesy.
I'll give Marty this. They really nailed the feeling of depression, the phone,
being lonely.
the rejection, the phone scene. I remember Eric talked a lot about that when we reviewed it, like the slow zoom on Ernest Borgnine when you don't even have to hear what she's saying because he tells it all.
On to everybody's top number one.
Number
Colin.
one. My number one movie of 2015 was Ant-Man.
Oh, okay.
And I'll tell you why, as is my wont. Ant-Man, for me, redeemed the Marvel franchise after a pretty big disappointment. I really thought that Marvel...
Ultron?
Yes, spoilers,
Yeah.
that's my big disappointment for 2015 is Age of Ultron. And I know I'm not the only one there, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But Ant-Man...
First movie they ever done was just okay.
Yeah, but Ant-Man brought it back for me, and there's a lot of reasons. Like Jamie said earlier, I agree. I'm a big Paul Rudd fan. I always like to watch him. I just really find him very enjoyable. But one of the best things that they did about Ant-Man is Marvel proved that they are not just making one kind of movie. What they did with Ant-Man was they made a comedy about a superhero.
Hmm?
But every time they've made a comedy about a superhero before, because it's been done many times, the comedy comes from the same place. The superhero sucks. The superhero's powers are weird or useless. The superhero is drunk. There's a lot of body jokes. But the thing is, this time you have a superhero with an effective superpower that totally works and is actually really awesome. He is not a piece of shit and can use his powers effectively. He's actually pretty legitimately heroic, wants to do the right thing, and his powers fucking work. They still made a super funny movie with this. So it didn't give in to any of the cheap shit that usually goes with genre-based comedy. And instead, Marvel Studios just proves by good casting, good writing, and good acting that you can make a funny movie about a superhero. Everything about it was very good.
Also a heist movie.
Yeah, great heist movie.
It was a heist movie.
Great heist movie. And you don't get those frequently enough, in my opinion, because I love a good heist movie. The only downside to Ant-Man is it does suffer a little bit from what I think Age of Ultron suffered from the most of any Marvel movie ever made, that being that it's just sort of an advertisement for other Marvel movies. Because Ant-Man is there's this maybe 5 or 10 minute sequence where it's don't forget these other Marvel superheroes as well. But because it's oh, there's the Falcon and he's there for some reason, and okay, we do that thing, and all right, moving on back to the movie. But otherwise, I just thought Ant-Man was an A+. Just a great movie, a lot of fun, and certainly a big surprise, especially considering that of all Marvel characters I've ever been aware of, I think Ant-Man was the one I was literally the least interested in. Loved it. If you saw that Ant-Man was coming out and just sort of thought Ant-Man is lame, give it a try. You're really going to like it.
Michael Pena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I told my friend, he said this guy.
He's
you
so
know the little
funny.
guy? I know the little guy.
That device, I'm glad you cited that. That device that they use is so great, and they use it so well. They do such a good job with it. Love Ant-Man. Ant-Man's my number one.
All right, kids. My favorite story of 2015.
I think you and I have the same one.
Maybe. Mine is The Martian.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same one.
I forgot about The Martian. It was
Once
so
again,
good.
you and I, our 2 and 1s are the
Oh my
same.
god, it was so good.
It's one of my honorable mentions.
So good.
So, The Martian for me was The Martian is what I dream about when I daydream. I daydream. I'm serious. I daydream that I'm alone on a deserted planet that can't habitate life, and I need to figure out how to survive. The best thing about The Martian, which it's the same in the story that it is in the movie, it has this incredible attitude where okay, yeah, I'm fighting for my life, and if I don't do everything right, I'm going to die. But I'm still complaining about disco, and I still, and I'm still relishing the mundane things you love about life, and just, I don't know, like, stories like The Martian are inspiring to me because it's about it's about the will to survive. It's about a guy just like, in the story, there are a million things that go wrong for Mark Watney. And if he just like, at any point, if he goes, well, fuck it, whatever, fuck my life. Everything has gone wrong and I'm just gonna die. Like, if he has a FML attitude, then he's gonna fucking die on Mars. But he doesn't! He fucking perseveres and he gets off Mars and he gets back to the real world. Spoiler alert. But I'm serious. It's a
Thanks
great
for the
movie.
after warning.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't care. Look,
Hitler dies at the end.
you're
Like, are we going to pretend that that's not
look,
what?
even if you're fucking shipwrecked on Mars, like, you're in control of your own destiny. If you fucking fight hard enough, you can get out of it and you can survive.
Yep.
So do it. Fucking do it. Like, that's what The Martian is all about. Like,
Just do it.
Never, just fucking
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
To quote John's,
easy.
to fucking, quote John's favorite actor.
Yeah.
Just do it. No, but The Martian is an incredible movie, and shout out to our boy collectively, Todd. There is a montage in The Martian of science happening set over Starman by David Bowie.
Yeah.
Which, I saw The Martian in theaters twice. And like, so the second time was with my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, okay, so there's a montage in this movie, and the first time I saw it all alone in the theaters, I cried like a baby, but I'm not going to do it this time.
And you did.
But then we saw it again, second time in the theaters, and I cried like a baby during Starman, because there's a Starman waiting in the sky.
He loves coming
You know
Yeah.
what? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. The Martian is the best story that's been
good
told
stuff,
this year.
man.
It's
really good.
really good. It's really good.
So, I'm, oh boy, I am going to, jump on here because this was also my number one.
Yes.
And, everything that Eric said is totally true. This is a movie about the indomitable heroic human spirit. And it's like the best example I've ever seen of that, quite honestly.
Yes.
But one thing I gotta say that Eric didn't mention is fucking kudos to Matt Damon.
Yeah,
Because
man.
Yes.
he carries this fucking movie, man.
Oh,
He-
yeah.
he's
It's
fucking
him 100%.
He's amazing. And like, you can, like, that for me was one of the hardest things. Like, I've read the book first, and I could not imagine who they could get to play Mark Watney, because he's such he's
Nuanced character.
yeah, he's very nuanced, and there's so much there that just needs.
Well, like,
yeah,
like how do you be like a hard scientist? Like, you're an engineer, a botanist, and a spaceman, but also you have a great sense of humor,
and you say fuck a lot.
Yeah.
yeah, and you just, I mean, it's amazing. It's absolutely fucking amazing, and Matt Damon does an amazing job, and it's just like every once in a while, it's I mean, I know he has chops, but every once in a while, seeing something like this just blows my mind.
It's always fun to see an actor kind of like stand up and say, "Yo, still here."
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
and that's
Look what I can still do.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that, like, it's one of those things that I just love it. One of my favorite things to see is popular actors really getting to fucking stretch their stuff. Because, and The Martian has that in spades. Because I remember how many people were going nuts over how well Tom Hanks did in Survivor. Like, they're like, oh, this guy deserves an Oscar. He carries a 2 hour and 15 minute Castaway, not Survivor, right? And it's like, he carries a whole lot, and he only plays opposite of golf ball. I'm just wrong all over the place today. But they were just going nuts over that.
Volleyball.
Yes. But Tom Hanks' performance in Castaway does not hold a candle to Matt Damon's portrayal of Mark Watney. So if you haven't seen if you have not seen The Martian, it is my number one pick.
It's that good. Yeah, it's that good.
All right. So, Jamie, you want to go? And then we'll finish it out with James, and then we'll cover our most biggest disappointments, and we'll call it a night.
Okay. My number one movie was on Netflix. I think it might still be. So if it is, you guys have got to check it out.
Okay.
It's kind of like a sleeper hit. It's kind of an older movie, too. When did it come out? I want to say like 2011 or maybe even earlier than that. It's a movie called God Bless America. This movie is directed by the one and only Bobcat Goldthwait.
Ooh.
He's a director. Apparently, he directs a lot of... what was the late night show? I want to say Jimmy Kimmel or something, but he directs that. That's like his day job. When he's off for the summer, he goes and directs little indie movies. So this movie, God Bless America, is about a guy played by Joel Murray, Bill Murray's brother. He goes to the doctor, and the doctor tells him that he has an inoperable brain tumor and that he's going to die in like 2 months or something like that because he keeps getting all these headaches. So he goes home and decides he's going to kill himself. So he's sitting on the couch. He's got the gun in hand. He's watching TV. He's watching all this reality show bullshit. And he's got this inner monologue that is just fantastic. And the inner monologue is basically saying how society has just become the society of voyeurs, and that all we want is just to watch this shit all the time. And he's like, I'm so sick of the world. I'm so sick of it all. I'm going to kill myself. And just before he pulls the trigger, he's like, wait a minute. I'm not the problem here. He's watching some like Sweet 16 bullshit on the TV. And it's like, that's the idiot who needs to die. So what he ends up doing is going all across the country, killing basically reality show stars.
Whoa.
And it's fucking awesome. There's obviously a lot of social commentary in it. He picks up a teenage girl that's very into kind of like, she's got very much the same thinking of it as him. Although it's not like a sexual thing or a gross thing. It's just they happen to be very of similar mind, kind of like kindred spirits. Mm-hmm. So they become kind of a killing duo as they go across the country. And it's just done so beautifully. It's got a lot of tone. They work very hard on the characters. Bobcat Goldthwait is a surprisingly good director.
I've heard that.
He did another movie with Robin Williams called World's Greatest Dad, which was also very good. I liked this one better because it has more on social commentary. The other one was social commentary too. World's Greatest Dad is very briefly kind of about Robin Williams' son is this little pissant fucker, and he hates him, and the kid accidentally kills himself.
Oh, wow.
And the dad... What?
While masturbating.
Okay, so you know about it.
I've seen this movie. It's great.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
He accidentally kills himself.
It's very dark, but it is very funny.
It is very funny and very great. Isn't it weird? So my number one is God Bless America, starring Joel Murray and Tara Lynn Barr. After you see it, if you still liked it, if you liked it a lot, you should look into World's Greatest Dad as well. One of Robin Williams' greatest performances since 1 Hour Photo, if you've seen that.
Wow. That's high praise. All right, so James.
Number one, well, it probably would have been different had I watched all of the great movies that you guys watched, but all the great movies that came out in theaters this year, because I missed almost every one, except for Mad Max Fury Road, which is my number one.
Yeah, good choice. Yeah, well,
that movie,
that was my too.
It's got to be like one of my favorite movies of all time, seriously.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily like, you can't describe it, and I'll tell you why. It's so simple. It is the perfect example of Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just simple, and all the time he spent working on it was just making it simple and perfect, just fine crafting every element about it so that all the characters felt real and whole. And I mean, the entire movie is one person drives one direction and then turns around and drives back.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It is amazing. And like the world is just feels real and full, and the motivations are there. And my God, there are just scenes in this movie. Like I've seen it like twice or three times in the theaters. There are points in this movie just watching the screen where just because of the way that the scene is composed, it gets me excited. It gives me goosebumps.
Mhm.
Just
Correct.
watching it. Just watching the shit on screen. And there's almost no CG except for the windstorm. Apart from the windstorm scene, anything that's CG is so well crafted, it's completely indistinguishable from real.
And
shit.
there is a lot of practical shit in this movie, like real
And it
practical
makes
shit.
a difference. Oh
Yeah.
my God, does it make a difference? You feel like there's real kinetic energy coming through the screen. It is just the perfect action movie until the next perfect action movie comes along.
Right.
which may incidentally also be Mad Max if they keep the same production team.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
It's possible. It was so good. So, yes. So everybody, those were our top 5 for
Hooray!
2015 in review. Thank you very much for joining us. Real quick and like lightning fast, let's just go through it. Biggest disappointments of 2015. Colin.
I didn't even know we were going to do this category, but I already had picked one, and I filed it under the category of boo farts. My biggest disappointment of 2015 was an easy pick. It was Age of Ultron.
All right. Eric, what about you?
It was also an easy pick. Avengers: Age of
All
Ultron.
right. Jamie, what about you?
Oh, it's tough. I actually didn't really think about it. I don't know. Come back to me, I guess. I'm trying
All
to
right,
think of
we'll
it.
come back to you. James, do you have a worst movie that you watched this past year?
No, I didn't, but I'll tell you what, I'll go through honorable mentions. I won't say anything about them, just the titles.
Okay.
Okay, the ones that almost made the list. Hunt for Red October, Wolf Cop, Ant-Man,
Yay.
Rocky, and Star Wars.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah, I forgot. This is your first time seeing Rocky this past year.
Now,
Wow.
I didn't put it on the list because we technically watched it last year.
Yeah,
Or
technically we did.
the year before.
Yep.
So, but, hey.
Great movie, and that's why Creed didn't make my list because I haven't seen it yet, but I know it would be my number one. My
I can't
biggest
believe we didn't see that together.
Yeah, my biggest disappointment of the year was Jurassic World. That movie was a piece of shit. James,
That one also gets an honorable mention from me.
Delightful
from
piece
me.
of shit. For
Almost
a
made
piece
my
of
list, for real.
shittiness.
It's
so
tough,
bad.
but yeah, I'd have to probably agree with the Avengers: Age of Ultron. I
Gotcha.
expected
Yeah.
so much more
Yep.
from it, and it was just kind of like the whole.
All right.
It was just punching angry robots. That was the whole
Yeah.
movie. Is punching
It's
robots.
terrible.
Yep.
It was actually pretty bad.
There's no more vibranium in the world. Just kidding. Here's some.
All right.
Also, here's all the lines I didn't get to use in Firefly, but would have.
Yeah. Oh, yes, Joss.
Also, Quicksilver gets to die by bullets, which he's been dodging the whole fucking movie.
Oh no, I do remember what the worst one was. God, Unfriended. I was forced to watch that piece of shit.
Wow.
That
Okay.
was stupid.
I bet it was.
Worse than Age of Ultron by far.
And on that note, welcome to 2016, John Hates Movies listeners.
Isn't Unfriended also the alternate title for Civil War?
Now Civil War's gonna be good. It better be anyway.
I think Civil War is going to be really good.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
hope.
Let's hope so.
All right, so thank you very much for joining us in the new year, which we might as well call season 3. Why not? Because Colin likes to
Yay!
pretend it's seasons. Next week we're going to be watching whatever Chris chooses. That may be variable, but so it'll be a surprise to you, and it'll be a surprise to us. So join us next week when we watch our first real movie review, mystery movie. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Colin.
Good night.
A great big thank you to our staff graphic artist, Tabby Walters, the Weekly Cast, and our listeners. You can listen to our podcast on iTunes, the Stitcher app, through YouTube, or directly on our website. Feel free to send us a movie review suggestion. Every third episode is Listener Appreciation, where we choose from your suggestions. You can reach us through social media, either by liking our Facebook page, John Hates Movies YouTube channel, or following our Twitter at John Hates Movies. Our music was composed by Kevin MacLeod. You can find this track and many more on his website, incompetech.com. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week to hear someone say,
Fuck.